Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hall, Assistant City Manager of the City of Emporia. We're here today in Veterans Memorial Park for the second day of the Living History program. This is a coordinated effort by the Sons of Confederate Veterans Camp, the City of Emporia, and several other camps. Behind us we'll see several Confederate soldiers in dress. We have bands, we have encampments, we have a cavalry here. The events will culminate today at 3 o'clock with a reenactment on the Greg property on Tilley Street.
That's Grandma Joe.
Coming Cattermark by miles left. Mark!
You gotta be out.
It is a relatively new name. At that time it was Hicks Ford. Ford of the Mahern River. It also, in case you haven't read or seen anything, it is not a nice sunny day in April. It's cold. It's winter of 1864, December 7th through the 12th. The war will soon be over. You can do that by cutting off supplies to Petersburg and Richmond. One of the last supply lines is the Weldon Railroad, right here through Hicks Ford, heading into Petersburg and on into Richmond, Indiana. At this late date in the war, the Federals, the United States, the U.S. or Union, are as they were at the beginning of the war. Very well supplied. Arms, ammunition, uniforms. Earlier today, some of the reenactors asked me to point out some of the weapons primarily brought in from England. Rather than view that as an interruption, I think it's a good example of how vital this railroad system is even today with all the other forms of transportation we have. Imagine that being the only form of supply, just how vital that was in December 1864. As I was saying, at the beginning of the war, both sides were using single-shot muzzle-loading rifles. As a matter of fact, the whole war is different for the Union as it is the Confederacy. In these homes, but there were houses this close to the battlefield. In the North, it was much like war is to us today. Those of you who have sons and other relatives, husbands in a faraway war, you're concerned. But we don't see fighting in the streets. For the South, for the whole war, it's in their streets, in their towns. It affects the civilian populace. Here at this Hicksford raid, as the Union troops fell back to the Confederate troops, word got out that Union stragglers were being killed by male civilians from the area. That was never proven to be true. But nonetheless, rumor can become more true than the truth, because sometimes they weren't in real fighting condition after having confiscated this Applejack whiskey. But the important thing to remember that this battle today, if you go on in the sesquicentennial of that great war, and you see others, federal union versus states' rights. It was very important when they could see on the southern side the blue flag in addition to the Confederate battle flag, the state flag of Virginia. Observe things like that. They didn't have a nice, clean, open field like this. You saw how close that was. You gotta imagine. Yeah. It's clear, silver, lots of water, frozen summer. Just besides the obvious being shot at, you've got the hazards of that. So, this is